Hello everyone, my name is Annabelle Ulp, and today I will be sharing with you the different struggles that I had when trying to feed my son during the first year of his life. Before we get started, I wanted to make a correction that I had mentioned on my written component. I mentioned the year 2021, but it was actually, in fact, 2022. My son was born December 2021, and then come forward March of 2022, there was a formula infant can recall due to a potentially dangerous bacterium that was found in some of the cans. Um, Fortunately, my son's can was not contaminated, but it was the only type that he could handle that would not upset his stomach due to some health concerns that he had. Now, with my son being 3 months old, for those of you who do not know, an infant or baby during their first year of life, they need to have either breast milk or formula as their main source of food. So he had 9 more months left. So with this recall, it caused a nationwide shortage, and it left a lot of families, including my own, to struggle every day to find formula just to feed their kids every day. One small can would would last a day and a half, and the larger can, I believe it was 3.5 for my son. So if you could imagine how much babies eat, and for every single day trying to find food for your kid, 9 whole months, or for even younger kids, 12 whole months, or so forth. You get what I'm saying. Um, so not only that, we had to drive from store to store. There were shelves that were just empty. People were taking any kind of food available. It didn't matter what brand, it didn't matter the type, just so long as they could feed their kids. So we were having to drive hours. We were having to drive county to county. I was having to contact my family from out of state. They were having to drive grocery store to grocery store to find me any kind of formula and ship it to me. I was also buying from Canada, and I was also joining online groups on Facebook in particular that were dedicated to families selling, exchanging, and buying formulas with each other. With that risk came scammers. I fell victim to a scammer one time who had conveniently stolen a photo from somebody else's stock of formula, claiming it as their own, proceeded to take my money and not send me any food for my kid. So then I was left without money and no food for my son. On top of that, you had to trust a stranger to not contaminate the cans. I don't know about you, but that is very stressful, and I quickly realized that this was not sustainable for my family. So then I turned to Google, and I found out that mothers who had just had a baby can actually relactate if they did not start, or maybe they started and didn't breastfeed, or they started and then they stopped. In my case, I didn't start it. I was too focused on healing. I had a very high risk pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, and I was suffering a lot of pain and panic attacks from the things that I had to endure during it. And I unfortunately decided to supplement with formula to try and recover from that. Because of that decision of mine, I ended up living with a lot of guilt and feeling like a failure of a mother, like a bad mother in particular. You can ask any new mother the feelings of that, or parent. So then I reached out to a lactation consultant that I had found, and she put me on a bunch of different herbal supplements to help relactate, and as well as a device called a double electric breast pump. And what this is a device that are two suction cups that basically act like they are a baby that is very hungry nursing on you. And within a 24-hour time span, I would have to pump every 2 hours for each pump session being 30 minutes. So with that, I also had to do a night pumping session for 30 minutes. And then on top of that, I had to do what we call a power pump. And a power pump session is where you pump for 30 minutes, rest for 30 minutes. Pump 30 minutes, rest for 30 minutes. And if you felt like it, top it off with another 30-minute pump. So you can imagine that is a lot of pumping. That is a lot of time to just sit there and think and harbor all of these negative emotions of loneliness and fear, guilt. Everything that I was experiencing with my postpartum depression and anxiety was now increased. With that being said, I was able to relactate. I did pump every single day. If I was driving, I was pumping. If I was in a grocery store, I was pumping. And I want to make a note of that. Being in public places while pumping, you get some very odd stares. Which, it actually makes a mother feel very uncomfortable and like they are being judged for trying to feed their child, and the whole world did not understand the severity of this situation. That formula is not available, and I am trying to use my own body to feed my own baby that came from my body. The most basic human natural thing. But with that being said, there was not enough outrage, there was not enough news coverage, so how would anybody understand? It left me in a very dark and lonely place. But one day, I actually was having a friend over so she could watch my son while I pumped. And I was just sharing away with her everything that I was going through and everything that I was feeling. And she informed me about the group, the La Leche League. And this is a group, a very lovely group of women, any woman who wants to meet with a lactation consultant for free. And you meet up monthly, and you discuss the troubles, the success, or just friendships with other women who are in the same situation as you. I was the only pumping mom, but the lactation consultant there and the other moms helped me understand that that still was a form of breastfeeding. Just because my baby was not latched on to me, I was still providing milk for my son. And that helped me realize within myself that I was not a failure. I was not a bad mom. In fact, I was quite the opposite. And I am quite the opposite. I'm a very dedicated mother. I will do anything when it comes to my son, especially when it comes to his basic needs. And that is a very powerful thing that I did for my body and for my son. It is a lot of pain that comes with pumping, and I am very strong for having gone through it. I did manage to pump over the 12 months that he needed. I wanted to say that this is not a speech designed to make people think that breast milk is superior to formula. In fact, I don't want to express that at all to new mothers, because we go through a lot of judgments from other people on the daily for the decisions that we make. Instead, I am trying to encourage, whether you are a mother, father, or a caregiver of any type, that if you find yourself in a situation that you feel ashamed, clueless, helpless, you are angry at yourself for not being able to solve the situation right away, pause, give yourself some grace first, okay? And then know that if you just search down deep within yourself and find that love for your kid and for the person that you are taking care of, that you will find a way, just like I did, and that you are not a failure. Just because the answers are not there right away, or the answers are not exactly as you imagined, you will adapt to whatever situation you have at hand, whatever your resources that you have in this moment, you will utilize them and you will adapt just the same way that I did. Thank you.